All right, YouTube. How's everybody doing today? Just going to do a quick lunchtime check-in, see what's going on out here in YouTube land. That hurricane is coming ashore. It looks like here shortly. So hopefully everybody's batting down, doing what they're going to do. Bobby out there at Bobby's Solar Homestead did a video yesterday on all his preparations and stuff. It was good stuff. Go check that out. He did his solar showed his solar kit and how he had it charged up and his fuel preps, and he's looks like he's ready to ride through. Even though I think it's going way north of him, but he's probably gonna get some bad rain and a little bit of wind. And there's a live stream right now as well from out there. It's but they're a little bit inland, so it won't pick up business probably until tonight actually. So it might be dark before that actually gets interesting. So it looks like that whole thing is moving forward. Sounds like it's a little bit less than expected. I get this down to a category 2, which is cool. Downgrading it's better than upgrading it, right? You don't need no category 5 or nothing coming ashore there. So hopefully that works out for everybody. And still a lot of madness going on. Seeing a lot of anecdotal, I guess, evidence of people rushing the Walmarts and stuff like that. People um, acting the fool, right? Acting a fool, rushing the Walmarts for water and stuff. It didn't get. I mean, people weren't. It wasn't Black Friday rush, but it was definitely people pushing and shoving for some water. You do see more madness when people try to get Christmas gifts. It seems like, which is sad in its own respect, but it is what it is, right? So hopefully everybody there is batting down. Hey, Tommy Boy's checking in with us. Boneyard Militia, how's it going today? Tommy Boy, you getting any of that rain yet? You're all full on your items from Food City, Tommy Boy says. Right on. Yeah, hopefully this whole thing doesn't escalate anywhere, but everything looks to be under control as far as pillaging and looting. Hopefully everybody's well. Angel R, how you doing today? What's going on out there? Just kind of a chat, just filling it in with what I've seen about the hurricane. There's several YouTube channels doing their thing. Bibles and Barbells, he's inland around the Charlotte area, I believe. He did his rundown of his preps and whatnot, expecting some bad wind and rain there as well. And Pop's Quest is somewhere in the Raleigh area, maybe? I never can figure out where some of these people are. I thought he was in Virginia, but I guess he's in Carolina. Coda Boy's in the area. There's a lot of different channels that are in the area that doing various videos for what's coming down. It's clear for you still, Tommy Boy. That's good. Tommy Boy, you're cheering. You just ate. What are you cheering on? The hurricane? Go, hurricane, go. Go, hurricane, go. What do you mean cheering? Interesting perspective there, Tommy Boy. Angel, you're not going to get any weather out of this, are you? Doesn't look like. Even though it dipped slightly south. Yeah, exactly, Angel. The stores are definitely empty. I put that picture on the G Plus yesterday, or was that this morning? That was yesterday. Yesterday I put that picture on the G Plus from the mountains in North Carolina, and stores are wiped out. And that's from people from the coast coming inland, like ants, just swarming over everything, swarming over and just cleaning the stores out. It's pretty bad. So when you think about your prepping, sometimes it's not the disaster on top of you. Sometimes it's the disaster somewhere else, causing the mass migration, the refugee crisis, as it would be, to hit your area. It's something to think about. I mean, if something bad goes down in the Bay Area, we're going to get swarmed, depending on how bad it is, depending on what it is. But yeah, San Jose, the Bay Area, they would just. But the thing is, once they hit Reno, there's nowhere to go. I mean, it would take. Hopefully, they would go north and south, and not so much east, because Once you get past Reno and Carson, like going east, it's nothing till Salt Lake, and who's going to have the resources to get that far? That's you look on the East Coast, people from the coast, they move 300 miles inland. They're around the mountains, they're on Chattanooga, they're around, almost to Atlanta. They've got some good support structure. You leave Reno, there is nothing till Salt Lake City. I mean, Elko's not even a blip on the radar if they're trying to get that route. Or they could take the loneliest highway in America and bug out that way. But bugging out as far as that type of evacuation out here, if there was like a large tsunami, I mean, a hurricane hitting San Francisco, for the example, like there's no place for those people to go. I guess they could go into Sacramento. I don't know if I'd be far enough. Because definitely once the storm hit the Sierras, it would die down. But a similar movement of people, like moving off the coast of Carolina right now, would be pretty epic around here, I would think. One of those things you think about, like, dang, what would that be like on this side of the country? You having that kind of movement of people and resources and stores getting cleared out and stuff, but there's lots of places for people from the Carolinas to kind of go and get absorbed into the, hotel rooms and everything else in there, but you don't have an equivalent. And actually, you got a kind of a less dense population on the coast moving to denser areas. Here, what we have is a real dense area, the San Francisco Bay Area, moving to less dense population areas where there's no infrastructure. That's one way to look at it. Something to just, I don't know. That's the way my mind thinks. Maybe it thinks too much. Maybe that's the problem. Angel said tears, right? Cheers. What's that septic tank in there? What's that? So what if tomorrow is the day the banks close to go with this storm? Oh man, Tommy boy, yeah, what if, right? What if it to death? That's the biggest thing, like we talked about with Venezuela, is like a disaster on top of a disaster. When you had the economic collapse, bank holiday, coupled with the earthquake, like when things get compounded. Have to have some cash in hand, says Tommy boy, right? Yeah, Tommy boy, you're probably getting the invasion of the coastal people into your area, I would imagine. All good in the hood, says Boneyard. Gold, silver, ammo, and food. Right, Angel, only keeping enough in the bank that you have to pay the automated bill stuff, but keep everything else in cash. You'd think that would be the ideal way to go, but people don't like to live by that. They think the banks are safer than keeping it under your mattress nowadays. It's amazing how we've been convinced of that. Our grandparents were kind of transitioned out of that thought of keeping money on hand because their great-grandparents learned from the Great Depression, don't keep money in the banks. Those that did have money in the banks, a lot of our grandparents were too poor to have any money in the banks. That wasn't an issue for them. Tommy boy has 3 tents, taking visitors. Right on. Right on, right on. So nobody else has seen any anecdotal hurricane stories? I saw some of the video from the actual coastal areas are already flooded. Streets are flooded on all the coastal towns in North Carolina, it looked like. At least on the Outer Banks, I believe it was. Avon, is that what the name of the town was? And yeah, so it's hitting. The rain is here. It looks like the eye of the hurricane was maybe 100 miles offshore, probably less. Probably just my perspective, but it's supposed to hit landfall tonight. It looks like it's running right over Camp Lejeune with the direction it's like It's north of Wilmington just enough. It's like that's going to run right over either that or Morehead City. It's hitting right there on the coast. So they're going to get the full effects of all the rain and this deluge. It looks like the flooding's going to be the biggest thing. It's not so much the wind. The storm's kind of dying down a little bit. But it's going to hit and it's going to stall and roll in. Tommy Boy says they're not showing hardly anything about the storm. That's interesting because they're making such a big deal of it. It's the front headline on the Drudge, plus a whole lot of other side comments. That's interesting. They're not talking about it on the TV. You think that would be the? I guess it's all poor white people, so nobody cares. There was some of that stuff going around Twitter. People saying, "I don't care. I hope it gets all those racist Trump voters," and stuff like stupid comments like that going around the Twitter about this whole storm thing. People have no respect for human life, as we've discussed, Angel. Right? They're making a big deal about it in Florida because Florida understands, right? Florida gets it, what it's like to be out of a hurricane. Boneyard. I wouldn't say that, Boneyard. People choose to move to. People have always lived on coastal areas. It's for trade and all. And historically, we've moved on to coasts because of all the benefits of food and trade and everything else. It's not a modern occurrence. Just don't be too conspiratorial about the whole thing. Yeah, right, septic tank. Yeah, there's lots of black folks out there in the coastal areas, but nobody thinks about them. There are people making those ignorant statements on Twitter, just like I said. There's no respect for life, you know? Yeah, a lot of those folks, you know, when they got cleared off the plantations way back in the day and freed, they just picked up sharecropping and stayed right in the same area. They didn't leave the Carolinas. They all lived down there. But people don't think about that when they post stupid stuff on social media. Oh, Tommy Boy, you mean it's the same footage of nobody drowning or anything? Right? Well, people are smart enough to stay out of the water in North Carolina, hopefully. Hopefully they're not dumb enough to, venture out into that stuff when because it's deep. I mean, you're looking at knee deeper on the streets there in those coastal towns already, the video I've seen. So, oh no, we've got a troll. You can take your message from Donald Trump and you can shove it. It's a shame the media has a lot to do with how you think of people. Yeah, that's the truth. People's experience, and people belie their own experience and listen to the media too. They don't even trust their own eyes sometimes, and they'd rather believe what the media tells them. Yeah, and that's part of our problem overall, septic tank, is the divisive nature of the media as a whole with that stuff. So nobody got anything exciting happening in their area? I know it's nice. It's just a nice day here. We're definitely getting fall. It's all like 75 degrees. It's nice that fall has finally decided to slide in here. Nice and easy. I think it's been down to 40 tonight. Kind of worried about those tomatoes a little bit that we planted, that we showed last week. That we may not get much out of that. They might suffer because of this cooler weather. They need a little bit hotter weather to endure. But we'll see what happens with those tomatoes. We started picking pumpkins last night. If you didn't see the post on the G+, put it on Twitter too. We got some pumpkins pulled in and set aside now, so we'll see what happens there. It's cold and rainy in New York City. Right on. It's nothing out. It's not out of this storm, is it? Is it all tied into the hurricane? That's a long way. Yeah, Tommy Boy, it's probably gonna be humid on your pods for a while, huh? Hot and humid in Miami as well, right? Sounds like the whole East Coast is just hot, humid, wet. Except for the Northeast, cold and rainy. So everybody's already kicking into fall mode, right? Yeah, so one other thing I wanted to hit up, I saw on the news today, right side column for the Drudge, kind of flying under the radar, came in last night. It looks like we kind of hypothesized about what's going to happen, who's going to fill the vacuum in Venezuela, and we've talked about it and had our theories and stuff about how that's going to work in Venezuela, who's going to, you know, take advantage of it. You know, whether it's the U.S., Russia, China, whatever. So there was an article today. This is off of France 24/7. I printed it out, but it's on the Drudge. But Maduro is looking to talk to China to bolster Venezuela's collapsing economy. So it looks like China's the king of choice. So the communists align with the communists. So he's looking for agreements to bolster oil exporting for the country's collapsing economy. Maduro said the trip was very necessary, very opportune, and full of great expectations. So he left to go to China Wednesday. So he's going to China to look for agreements to bolster their oil output, it looks like. We are leaving under better conditions, having activated a program of economic recovery, growth, and prosperity. We're going to improve, broaden, and deepen relations with this great world power, he said in a televised address. So if he's not fleeing the country to stay gone, he's saying he's going to China to make an economic deal with them of some sort. You could always hypothesize he's just trying to get out of the country to escape. It doesn't want to get sacked or, this. If he left Wednesday, you figure that's yesterday, last night. Might be a good time for a military coup, which it's been hypothesized that the U.S. has been talking to Venezuela's generals about performing a coup, and when the cat's away, that's when those type of things happen, and arrest him when he hits the ground on the way back. As we've talked about before, International Monetary Fund projects Venezuela's inflation rate will reach 1,000,000% by the end of the year. That's just insane. How does that even happen? And let's don't forget that Venezuela made an electronic Bitcoin or electronic cryptocurrency for their oil. So they have a cryptocurrency they can use to trade with China in this oil trade deal that they might be promoting as well. This trip to China is Maduro's first outside the country since he was allegedly targeted by exploding drones in August 4th. So let's don't forget that either. There was supposedly an attempt on his life already, but yet he leaves the country for this economic mission, which he could easily send somebody else to go do. I wouldn't be surprised if by Saturday, today's Thursday, by Saturday that they have some type of coup of military or otherwise there in Venezuela to arrest him when he gets back. I wouldn't doubt that wouldn't happen. So just stand by for more fun and excitement out of Venezuela. Septic tank, you're only in New York for the liberal. You don't enjoy the liberal paradise. You're only there for the work, right? That makes it work or worse. That makes it rough. I hear you. I've had to do excursions into California. I kind of know what that's like. But I didn't work in L.A. or San Francisco. I couldn't imagine working in New York City. Angel says your understanding is Venezuela owes China a crap load of money. I don't know. They got a bunch of bailouts from the IMF, I think. I don't know that they owe China necessarily. I'm not sure about that. Well, we got... Who just jumped in here? Wait, 520. I don't see 520. 520 is not showing on my radar. Are you serious? Can somebody transcribe what 520 said? Daniel, what's up? How you doing? Good afternoon. I was kind of talking about the hurricane at first, Daniel. Now we're just kind of segueing into this Venezuela situation just to kind of cover it. I didn't want it to slide under the radar without addressing it here. Hey, there's 520. You showed up now. Oh, nice. Is that okay? 520. Is that on the Drudge Report or something? Pedophile's decapitated corpse found on judge's doorstep after bail hearing in Aurora, Illinois. So is that the guy that was a pedophile got bail? That's justice right there. New York Herald. It's not in the Illinois paper. I wonder what. See, Aurora's up near Chicago, though, right? That's not Mule's town. I would say Mule might be involved, but I wouldn't think he would be involved in anything that far away. You know what I'm saying? Street justice will win sometimes. Yeah, Angel, they owe money to the Chinese government, Chinese government owned coal company. Okay, I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, they owe, but technically they owe U.S. corporations too because they nationalized everything down there. So the people in the corporation left, but they took all their infrastructure. So I guess you could say technically under the laws of their nation, they seized it, or the fiat laws, I guess you'd say, they made up as they went along. They owe that money of that value of those structures and everything, but any mineral rights that went with it. But you could say technically they owe them that, but you never know. So 30,000 bail was posted in the dead of the doorstep the next day. That is one less problem in the world, right? $30,000, nobody has to worry about paying back. No have to worry about no trial, no cost for incarceration, all that good stuff. Like, sounds like a win for everybody, right? We'll have to look that up. 520. 520 doesn't have a branch, does it? You can't post the link. Okay. Might have to solve. Can I do that from in here? Yeah, I can't do that from mobile. Maybe some other time, 520, I'll give you the wrench of death. You could post a link. Yeah, Boneyard, if we were to take out all the pedophiles, we wouldn't have to worry about Washington, D.C. and most of Hollywood and all the other problems in America would be solved by just getting rid of that to the population that keeps pushing their agenda. Oh, well, the Boneyard, I didn't want to get too far into it. Yeah, you could start with the Roman Catholic Church as well. Start from the top down. Those that will not leave are complicit, right? Man, it's not like you have to leave. It's not like when you're in a country, you can say you're complicit in a country's actions, but that's a difficult proposition. But to just separate yourself from that church would be an easy task and easily accomplished by anybody. But they're too set in their ways to bow down to a central leader in the Pope that they haven't learned. Those people that are easily controlled. You really think he's addressing that issue, Angel? I think he's in on it. I don't think he's addressing that issue at all. He's covering it up, if anything, and definitely not going to hang them all. Not on their end. I mean, that would be. Yeah, you start from the top down and work your way. You see the news coming out of Germany on that whole thing. Unreal. Like, and that's what happens anytime you have an elite that thinks they're above the rules. All right, sorry about that. I don't know why that glitched out there. That was weird. Yeah, we're still alive. Yeah, the news is saying the Pope's going to handle it, Angel, right? Right. Hanging, you know what? And well, hanging was the most efficient. It's the cheapest. So let's save a little money because it's going to take a lot. 5:20. So the weirdest thing happened last night. Car parked in the street. I want you to check it out. Uber driver who had some guy passed out in his back seat. Okay, 5:20. I'll buy it. That is pretty strange. The guy had given the driver your address. That is weird. And that's not like you're not in the middle of nowhere, right? You don't know him. Oh, wow. Yeah, 5:20. I would say that's kind of unusual, right? It's not like you live downtown or in a neighborhood or anything. Gave him your address. Did you check his ID, see if he was a cop or something? Maybe he had been staking you out and just got drunk and only had thing in his mind was your address. That's weird. It is weird. Hey, Bikes, what's going on? How you doing? Hope you're cooling off down there, Bikes. We're down in the 70s up here, so hopefully you're down in the 80s. Man, I can't imagine you Uber driver showing up in the front porch being like, no, you got to take this guy out of here. Oh, man. Anybody see this story about the New Mexico observatory getting evacuated? Black helicopters, FBI, and all that other stuff? You folks see that? That story out of New Mexico. So there's this observatory. It's some government-funded joint. Got closed down. They called the sheriff to, I guess, provide security while they were clearing out the place. So they clear out this New Mexico observatory. At the same time, they go in and shut down the post office nearby too. Just clear them out, no explanation, no nothing, and they're just cleared out, vacant. It's in some national forest in New Mexico, and that was kind of weird. It's like, say what? So I don't know what that was about, but the locals are pretty up in arms about the whole thing. There's FBI around, helicopters, all that good stuff. So it's got people shook and no explanation. And it's like, why would you evacuate an observatory and just the post office right next to it? I mean, it's not like they keep chemicals or anything dangerous in the observatory, or do they? I don't know of anything. And no explanation, they just leave. And they actually called the sheriff to provide a little bit of limited security initially while they were packing things up. And the sheriff's not got any explanation either. Weird stuff. Is it on? It was the local, it was on the Drudge, I think. I think it's on the Drudge. So go check out Drudge Report. You'll find it in one of the columns. But you want to talk about things that get your head going, like, okay, an observatory gets evacuated. What is so top secret about that? Like, because people are like hypothesizing like it has to do with aliens, but like one observatory is not gonna, prevent the aliens or be in danger, be the only one in danger. Like, it's gonna be a wider radius. That's weird. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. You didn't see? Okay, you haven't read that yet, Bikes? Yeah, check it out. But yeah, check it on Drudge. There's like 3 or 4 links, I think. That was definitely a story worth reading. It just like, man, talk about getting your conspiratorial mindset, getting your tinfoil hat on. Okay, Tommy boy, you only watch I tell you. You don't hear anything. He has 6 properties on your street, 520. Never see the guy before. You tried talking to him, but all he could do was shield his eyes from your bright flashlight. right? So was the guy intoxicated? Was he wasted or what? He was wasted, right? Yeah, the guy was passed out. Did he seem like he was on the? Did he seem like he was on the alcohol or like he was on something else? Because that'd be a big difference too. It's on your G Plus feed bikes, okay? Okay, cool. The last couple days bikes. You know how far back I have to go for the last couple days on my G Plus feed? Yeah, so that's definitely an interesting story to follow. See if anything else happens in northern New Mexico anytime soon. Hey, is that Mule Team? Hey, what's up, Mule? How's it going? We were just running down some conspiracy theories now with this New Mexico observatory evacuation that nobody knows about, and the FBI put on lockdown. And 520's got strange Uber drivers rolling up to his house. Yeah, Mule buying ammo. All right, folks, I'm going to punch out. That's about it for my lunchtime chat. I just want to check in, see what's going on with the hurricane. Anybody heard anything new other than the flooding videos we're getting? But check out Bobby's Solar Homestead. Pop's Quest is doing videos. And that is the other one doing the, dang on, I can't remember his name every time. Backwoods Homestead. No, not Backwoods. Breakaway Homestead. Breakaway Homestead's doing live feeds. It hasn't quite got that far inland yet, but Bobby's going to be in the outer fringes, so he might do an update video here of his situation, but he's got the off-grid stuff set up. And there's a couple others, so go check them out. It'd definitely be good learning experience, because I'm looking at that like, I know if a hurricane hit here, we'd be in bad shape, but I'm not preparing for a hurricane either. So I'm looking at that like, I'm not supposed to be preparing for a hurricane, so it's not that big a deal. Half my animals will blow away probably in a hurricane, but we're not preparing for that either, so it's all good. But prepare for what you can when you can. So y'all be good out there. Stay safe, like Angel says, and keep those people down south there in Carolina in your thoughts and prayers. Live free.